All right, here we go. Section 5.3. We're going to do the odds today. I'm going to go as a little bit quicker than I was. The further we go along, the faster I'll go. So I'll go at my pace, and you tell me if I'm going too fast or too slow. Well, let's go to work. Number 1. What form is it in? The form that it's in makes a big difference as to how we are going to graph it. Intercept form. Anybody another name for intercept form? Factored form. You guys are on point this morning. Let's go. So my intercepts are -2 and a +4. Why are they -2 and +4? Got to be the opposite. Got to be the opposite. So I'm going to graph those 2 points right away. -2, +4. I can see how far apart they are. They're a good ways apart, so I'm going to go ahead and put those 2 values on the outside of my table here. And I start by finding my axis of symmetry, where my vertex is going to be. It's going to be the middle. So I count and see 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Okay, so it's going to be at 1. So my axis of symmetry is going to be at 1. Does everybody understand that? Any question there? Okay, so now I'll put 1 in the very middle because that's my axis of symmetry. I'm going to have to plug that in to find out where my vertex actually is. And then I'll choose the points 2 and 0 as well. 1 on either side of the axis of symmetry. Those are the ones I always want to choose. And I'm going to show you some cheating here in a couple minutes. So I got to start with my vertex. So I got to plug in 1. So f of 1 is 1 plus 2 times 1 minus 4. 1 plus 2 is 3. 1 minus, that was beautiful. I said 3 and wrote 2. 1 plus 2 is 3. Good job, hand. And then 1 minus 4 is a -3. 3 times -3 is -9. -9. So I'm going to plot that point. There's my vertex, -9. Now, I could go ahead and plug in 0 or 2, but I'm going to cheat. That's right. Is it cheating if I really just tell you?
No. Yes.
I'm going to cheat. Or another way of saying it is I'm going to use my knowledge. My A is 1. See it right there? My A is 1. So I know from that vertex I can go up 1, over 1. To the right, up 1, over 1 to the left. There is my parabola. Now, those 2 points I just made, what is my Y value? It's -8. So I can finish out my chart as well. See how I did that?
Yeah.
Any question there? So I used knowledge from my formula to fill in 2 of my points instead of having to plug and chug. Okay, if you want to plug it in, you can. That's fine, but that's a little bit more work, and us mathematicians tend to be a little bit lazy. Yes, I said mathematician.
No.
Oh. Number 3, what format or form is that in? Standard form. So the first thing when I see standard form is I'm going to look for junk in a trunk, also known as the linear term. There is junk or a linear term. Therefore, I got to know x equals -b over 2a. So in this case, that's the opposite of b, which is -6, over 2 times a. In this case, a is 1. So I have -6 over 2 or -3. So my axis of symmetry is going to be at -3. And somewhere on that axis of symmetry line is going to be my vertex. Okay, so how do I find it? That's right, Glade. Plug it in. F of -3 will be -3 squared plus 6 times -3 plus 2. Okay, so -3 squared is 9. 6 times -3 is a -18 plus 2. So 9 minus 18 is a -9 plus 2 is a -7. So there is my vertex at -3, -7. And I go ahead and plot that vertex. Now, the other numbers I'm going to choose are going to be the ones right next to it. For example, -2, and -4. Okay? But I don't really like that, enjoy that plugging and chugging, so I'm going to use other information. Check this out. Instead of using like -1, I'm going to use 0. Okay? There's a reason why. And I want to choose the same one on the other side, which would be not -5, but -6. That way those would be matching terms. Are you with me? Because of the symmetry. All right. So now I'm going to cheat again. I'm going to use other knowledge other than plugging those values in. I'm going to use my A, which is what? Yeah, it's a 1. And I'm going to go up 1 and over 1, up 1 and over 1. Hey. And that value was -6, right? What other information am I going to use? Well, I chose this number for a reason. It's my initial value, which I can see right there at the end in standard form. There's my initial value, which is 2. See how I can use my brain? Now, this is 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, 3. That's where it belongs right there. Does that make sense? And there is my parabola. And I only really had to plug in one number instead of having to plug in all 5 of them. Okay? We're getting a little quicker because we're getting more and more knowledge. Yes? Let's move on. Number 5. Okay, number 5 is in intercept form. My two intercepts are -2 and -8. -2 and -8. Those are way apart, so I'm going to go -8, 0, -2, 0. Already plugged those in. My middle between those, my axis of symmetry is going to be at -5. I'm going to have to plug that in. Then I'm going to choose the numbers -4 and -6. But again, I'm going to cheat. I'll get to there in a second. So I have to plug in my vertex, which is -5. So I got to find f of -5, which is -5 plus 2 and times -5 plus 8, which is -3 times 3, which is -9. Way down here. We okay with that? Instead of plugging in another number, I'm just going to use my A. What's my A? 1. Right there. It's not written because we don't have to write the 1, right? So I'm going to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. There is my parabola. Now don't forget, let me go to a different color here. I look at these 2 points that I just plotted and I find what their value is, right? Which is -8. You understand how I got that? Cool? I'm going to take your silence as, yeah, man, that's like super cool, dude. Yeah, right. Rock on. All right, number 7, we talked about yesterday. And initially, some of us thought that was vertex form. But remember, it is not. It is actually in intercept form. It should really look like this. It should really be x plus 0, x minus 6. But come on, we're not going to write x plus 0, are we? So my 2 zeros, let me go back to red, are 0 and 6. 0 and 6. Those are my 2 zeros. Notice they're far away, so I'll put them in like that. I got 0, 0, and 6, 0. The middle is going to be, looks like 3. So that's my axis of symmetry. And then I'll choose the points. Whoa. Choose the points 2 and 4 because they're 1 on either side. Okay. I have to plug in 3. There's no way around it. So f of 3 will be 3 times 3 minus 6. Just plugged it in for the x. 3 minus 6 is -3. So that's 3 times -3, which is -9 again. Way down here. And then I'm going to use my A. What's my A? 1. I'm going to go up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. A is going to be a 1 a lot. I mean, it is 1 a lot. So what are these 3 values that I don't have plugged in here? Well, the middle one was -9, and the other 2 were -8s. Good? Getting faster, yes? Understanding is good. I'm not going too fast yet. Okay. Number 9. This one is in vertex form. So I can see my vertex right away. My vertex, remember, is HK. So in this case, it will be -3, +6. Why is it a -3? Opposite of what I see. Okay, so -3, 6 is my vertex. I'm going to go ahead and plot that. -3, 6. There's my vertex. I'm going to go ahead and use my A to find my next 2 points, which are at -4 and -2. My A is -1, right? See it? -1. So I'm going to go down 1 and over 1, down 1 and over 1, which gives me the value of -5 for both of those. And now I need to use one more point. I'll choose -1 or -6. I want to warn you, because this is in vertex form, this 6 that's sitting over here by itself that kind of looks like an initial value, it is not an initial value. Okay? I have to perform that operation, and I'll have a number at the end of that, and then I have to add to the 6 before it's the initial value. The initial value, that kind of looks like one, but it's not one. You only get one of those when it's in standard form. Okay? Just kind of wanted to point that out. So I do have to plug in a number here. -6 or -1 doesn't matter. I'll choose -1. So I'm going to find f of -1. So that is -1 plus 3 squared plus 6. So I got a negative. Well, -1 plus 3 is 2. 2 squared is 4 plus 6. So -4 plus 6 is 2. So this will be 2, and then this one will be 2. So -1, 2, and -5, 2. Finished my parabola, and that's beautiful. Cool? Questions, comments, concerns? Yeah, that's -5 too. I put a -6. It should have been a -5 there, right? Thank you for that. So that should have been a -5 right there. Thank you. My mistake. Let's move on to the last few. On the back side of the page, number 11. Number 11 is in vertex form. My vertex quickly is -2, 3. I'm going to plot that, -2, 3. I'm going to use my A value, which in this case is 1. So go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So that gave me the values -3, 4, and -1, 4. And the next values I'm going to use are 0 and -4. I'm going to plug in the 0, so find f of 0, which is 0 plus 2 squared plus 3. Well, 2 squared is 4 plus 3 is 7. 7. Parabola. Whoop! How long did that take? Didn't take long at all, right? That's about how long it should be taking you once you get good at this. Moving on to number 13. It is in intercept form, so my intercepts are -1 and a +3. -1, a +3. That is -1, 0, and 3, 0. My middle there is going to be 1. So that's where my vertex is going to be. I have to plug that in. 1 plus 1 is 2. 1 minus 3 is a -2. 2 times a -2 is a -4. And then I'll use my A, which is 1, to go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So I had 0 and 2 in those 2 spots, and I've got -3 for both of them. See how that works? Again, not very long. I know I'm really picked up my speed here, but I hope you're doing okay. What form is 15 in? Vertex. Who can tell me the vertex? -5, -1. Excellent. So there's my vertex. -5, -1, -5, -1. I'm going to go ahead and plot that. Good. I'm going to use the x values on either side, which is -4 and -6. And I'm going to use my a to find those values. What's the a? -2. So from that vertex, I'm going to go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And those values are -3. Good. I need one more value. I'm going to use -3. And I guess on the other end will be -7. So I'll plug in -3. So f of -3 is -2 times -3 plus 5 squared minus 1. All right. -2 times, well, -3 plus 5 is 2. 2 squared is 4. -2 times 4 is a -8. Minus 1 is -9. So I got -3, -9, and -7, -9. There's my parabola. Rock on. Good? Last one, number 17. Number 17. Also in vertex form. My vertex for me, Nelson.
Four is -7.
He says 4, -7. Close, but no cigar. -4, -7. Remember, it's always opposite of what's on the inside there, okay? Always opposite. So -4, -7. Okay? -4, -7. There's my vertex. I'm going to use my A, which in this case is, again, 1. So up 1 over 1. That gave me 2 more points. Those 2 points were -5, -6, and -3, -6. I need another point. So let's use -2, and that would correspond with -6. Okay, so let's plug in -2. F of -2 is -2 plus 4 squared minus 7. -2 plus 4 is 2. 2 squared is 4 minus 7 is -3. -3. Plug that in. -2, -3. -6, -3. Boom, there's my parabola. Booyah! Questions, comments, concerns? Doing good? All right. Your homework is listed. It's a page that's posted for you on your Google Classroom. Okay? There are 10 problems for you to graph. Okay? Y'all rock on. Have a great day.